Hey everybody, Kyle Meinke here from MLive.com. Joined by Nate Atkins. Big game on tap, Nate. Lions, Cowboys. It's Monday Night Football. It's the league's best team versus a Lions team that's this close to a playoff berth, to a division championship. There's a whole lot on the line. Who do you got?
Yeah, let's be real here. I mean, Dallas is a better roster. They're at home. They're a much healthier team right now. They should win this game, and so I'm going to go with the Lions. All based on last Thursday's game.
It only took you a couple of weeks, and you already have figured out the Lions.
Dallas doesn't have anything to play for in this one, and they've said we're going to play our starters. We don't want to get rusty and all this, and I think they will. I don't expect them to do it all the way. I'd be shocked if Ezekiel Elliott has his normal day out there, but I'm going to go with the Lions, something like 27-21. It's a game where I think even if the Dallas rested starters, it's going to be tough. I mean, you go from Dak Prescott to Tony Romo, it's not a huge drop-off. So it's going to be challenging, but I think Detroit, they know they have to win this one, even as banged up as they are. It's a game where I think Matthew Stafford comes in and kind of lights it up back in his home state there and gets it done. But
they're 6-point dogs, and we're both taking the Lions. That's pretty crazy. I got the Lions 24-23. I just think even if the Cowboys wouldn't have clinched, I still think the Lions would have won this game. I think the Cowboys are a good matchup for the Lions. Lions have a good defense, and if you look at what they've done against the run the past 6 or 7 weeks, they've been one of the best in the league, right around 80 yards allowed per game. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the Cowboys, they're built to run. They are a team that runs the football. They got that great offensive line. They got Ezekiel Elliott. But the Giants beat them twice, and they did it by really containing Elliott. I mean, he still got some yards, but I think he averaged something like 75 yards in those games, which was the worst in all season for Elliott. No big gainers. I think the longest carry he had against the Giants was something like 15 or 16 yards. And I think the Lions think they can do something similar. And I don't think they're going to shut them out or anything, but I think the Lions can get stops against this Cowboys team. And if you look at Matthew Stafford, his numbers against the Cowboys is very good. Mm-hmm. And the Cowboys secondary, it's not good. It's a weakness for them. It's a big time weakness. I think there are opportunities there for Stafford to stretch the field horizontally, vertically. I think he has a big game. And then you factor in the X factor of, okay, Elliott's going to play in this game, but I'm going to be shocked if he gets more than probably 10 carries. Right. There's just nothing for them to play for. I really do think this game stacks up very well for the Lions.
Yeah, I agree in some respects about the matchup. I think, especially you brought up their secondary in Dallas, and they're a secondary that plays under Rod Marinelli, a lot of zone, as we know, a lot of Tampa too. That's going to play a little better if they go with that than the man coverage they've seen lately.
Absolutely.
Which they've really struggled to get off of, and so they might go to man because that's worked well, but I just don't think they don't have Janoris Jenkins, and they don't have Eli Apple and the guys that New York has. So at the same time, the Lions don't have the defensive front that the Giants did to beat the Cowboys, and so I'm fascinated to see, especially the matchup of Nevin Lawson against Dez Bryant, because Darius Slay was awesome against Dez Bryant when he's faced him, and he just really has a great size matchup. The Lions are built to prevent the deep ball, to kind of keep that from happening. Can Nevin Lawson, a smaller player, who's played pretty well, but can he step up to that kind of challenge in that moment? That's to me, I think, the matchup that's going to really decide this one.
Yeah, I agree, because that's a huge loss for the Lions. I like what Johnson Batmosi has done this year when called upon. I mean, Slay, the last time he had a hamstring injury, he missed 2 games, and Batmosi played really well in those 2 games. And I mean, you're better off having Slay than not having Slay, but they hardly missed a beat defensively in the secondary in those 2 games. Granted, they played against Brock Osweiler and Sam Bradford, which are different than playing against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. But still, there's experience there. He's played well. But he can't guard Dez. And Nevin Lawson has played well, but he's smaller than Slay. I mean, you give up some speed. What makes Slay so good is his combination of length and speed. I mean, he can keep up with the fastest guys in the league, but he also has some pretty decent length. Nevin Lawson gives up a little bit of that. He's more physical than what Slay is, but he's smaller and he's slower, and he doesn't have that makeup speed. And I think that's going to be. I think that will be a problem. I think covering Dez is going to be the biggest X factor in this game, and Detroit's ability to scheme against that. I'm not sure what they'll do. Maybe a safety over top or something. I'm not sure, but their ability to compensate for the loss of Slay certainly, in my mind, is one of the biggest keys in this game for them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think on the other side, I think we both are expecting Matthew Stafford to come out and really have a nice game. And I think he's going to have to because Theo Riddick is almost certainly going to miss again. So they're going to be back down to, seventh round rookie and Dwayne Washington and Zach Zenner to run behind a line that really has struggled all year against the Cowboys defense that's allowed the fewest rushing yards in the league. And so this is a Lions team that has won all season long not running the ball well, but I don't think they can just go out and get 50 yards rushing and still do it that way.
See, I almost do. And because the Cowboys' rush defense is so good, that will be a problem for the Lions. But the way I look at it is the Lions haven't won or lost with rushing really all year. I mean, maybe they lost the Giants games because of the rushing, but I don't think they'll go to it as often as they did against the Giants. I think that was a poor game plan. Jim Bob admitted it this week. I think we'll see something different. I just don't. They haven't won with the run all year. You're still down Theo and Amir Abdullah. I just don't think we'll see a ton of rushing. And maybe besides, they'll pick their spots. They'll try to establish something. But I don't think you're going to see the Lions go out there in 1st and 10, 5 or 6 straight times like they did in the last game and try to rush it. I just don't. There'll be nothing there. And I think you're going to try to. You're going to take your strength, Stafford, in the passing game, and try to attack the weakness. And that's why I like this matchup for the Lions, because there is something there for Stafford to take advantage of. They don't have the Giants secondary. That's the best secondary they'll face all year.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. I just think the Lions, when they run for 100 yards, it feels like a huge upgrade over 58 yards. You know what I'm saying? The 2 games prior to the Giants one, it felt like they did enough running the ball to be pass first. But Jim Bob's talked about it. The reason they went to the run so many times, even when it wasn't working, is you just can't let pass rushers like Randy Gregory and the different guys they have. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to miss this game, but Benson Mayo and guys like that, you can't let them just know we're throwing it every single down. There's got to be something there. So it'll be interesting to see if they can mix it in at all, if they can do anything in the running game. But I think either way, Stafford has a pretty nice day.
I saw online a list of like 94 experts or analysts or whatever picking games this week. 90 of the 94 picked the Cowboys. We've got the Lions. You heard it here first. We'll see what happens. Monday Night Football, Lions-Cowboys should be a real good one. We'll both be there, so come back to MLive, see all of our coverage throughout the day and throughout the night. For Nate, I'm Kyle, we're MLive. Keep it right here.